talked about it a little last week, and it was, having a lot of. It was in the headlines for a lot of different reasons, but it was kind of down, and you had your own thesis on it. Since then, I think you have been proven right. But do you want to discuss a little bit what happened with NIO last week, in the past week?
Yes. So we talked about it last Tuesday, a week ago from today. And yeah, the stock's up about more than 50% since then, about 55%, I believe, as of this filming. So yeah, the stock has come rip roaring back. Remember, we said it was a pounding buy at $14 and change. It's above 20 now. So things are going well for NIO. They have earnings on Thursday. That could be a game changing moment for the stock. But before we get to that, let's talk about, we talked about why it was beaten up. It was beaten up because of China delisting fears.
Yep.
It was beaten up because of surging metal prices affecting electric vehicle prices. It was beaten up because of concerns about COVID-19 production of electric vehicles, or China production of electric vehicles being hampered in 2022 because of COVID-19 lockdowns. So it was beaten up for all these reasons. And then what we said last week, right, was that these are near-term headwinds that are going to pass. That none of these things actually really matter in the big picture, and that they're going to pass and the stock's going to come roaring back. So it's so freaking cheap right now. Well, a week later, they have basically come to pass. China delisting fears. Well, the Chinese government came out and said, we're going to back you guys, to its Chinese tech companies. We're going to back you. You're being audited overseas. There's talks of delisting. We're going to back you. We're going to make sure you don't get delisted. So now the Chinese government's all of a sudden throwing its weight behind NIO stock, essentially, and other Chinese tech stocks from getting delisted. So delisting fears have basically gone away. Surging metal prices. Nickel's been tanking. Everyone was concerned about nickel going to $60, $70, $80, $90, $100,000 a metric ton, but those prices have been collapsing. Yesterday, nickel was down 15%. They had to halt trading because it was down so much. So nickel prices are collapsing. I actually think when you look over at the Russia-Ukraine situation, because that's why nickel prices are soaring, because of Russia's a huge exporter of nickel and sanctions against nickel, fears of that. So that's why nickel prices are soaring. But I think when you look at that Russia-Ukraine situation, we're looking at a situation that's probably going to lead to a ceasefire pretty soon. Because look at it from Russia's perspective. Russia thought they were going to come in there and just kick butt and take names, right? They thought it was just, going to waltz in there with our massive army, take over. The world's going to say, okay, whatever, do it, and game over. But the exact opposite has happened. Nothing has gone according to plan for Russia. The Ukrainians are putting up one heck of a fight. I mean, they are putting up an amazing tip of the hat to them, an amazing fight against the Russians, holding their own. The rest of the world is basically declaring economic warfare on Russia. The economy is getting destroyed. Russian citizens are speaking up saying, what the heck is going on? Our livelihoods are being destroyed because of your crazy actions, Mr. Putin. Come on. So I think that Russia is now in a situation where they are much more open to diplomatic resolution to the conflict in Ukraine, and I think they will come to a diplomatic resolution. So if that does happen, if we come to a ceasefire, if there's some diplomatic resolution to that conflict, this surge in nickel prices and metal prices, which is already moderating, will completely evaporate and go away entirely. So that headwind, which was hurting NIO stock and electric vehicle stocks, I think is pretty much passing as we speak. The other headwind was COVID-19 lockdowns in China hampering production. But President Xi came out and said, hey, for the first time ever, he said, I don't want COVID-19 lockdowns to hamper economic activity or change people's way of lives in China. Like, we can't let that happen here in 2022. So it looks like COVID-19 lockdowns are not going to hamper electric vehicle production all that much or for all that long in 2022. So that headwind is also, as we speak, passing. So all these headwinds that were really weighing on NIO stock and kind of acting like an anchor on the stock have all of a sudden been lifted. And now the stock is firing off like crazy because it got beaten down to such depressed levels. I did the analysis last night. I was calculating what is NIO's market cap per projected 2022 delivery. So for cars, they're projected to deliver in 2022. We think they're going to deliver about 150,000 vehicles this year. So what is their market cap per car delivered in 2022 projected? and it's about $225,000. Now that compares to Tesla, which is above $600,000 per projected 2022 delivery, and Lucid and Rivian are both above $1 million per 2022 projected delivery. So when you look at NIO relative to its competitors, because you have to understand, NIO is making cars that have over 500 miles of driving range, that have over 500 horsepower, that go to 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds. These are high quality, high performance, high tech luxury EVs. That's a unique class. That's Tesla, that's Rivian, that's Lucid, that's NIO. In that class, NIO is trading at 3-fold, 4-fold, 5-fold of discount to its peers, which means that as these headwinds, if they do continue to pass, and if NIO does report positive earnings on Thursday and deliveries are actually continuing to trend in the right direction, this stock could absolutely roar. 2-fold, 3-fold, totally in the cards. A run back to 40, a run back to 60, definitely possible. And that's why we remain constructively bullish on NIO stock, even after its 50% pop over the past week.
You mentioned their earnings report is coming out on Thursday. Is there anything we should be looking at with NIO?
Well, yeah, I mean, we know what the delivery numbers look like to date, but we're going to want to get an update on the guidance for deliveries in the second quarter. We're going to want to get an update on how gross margins are trending, their input costs are trending, because again, we're talking about a surging metal price environment. Do they see that surge persisting? How's it impacting margins? We're going to look at their cash flow situation, their cash burn, where does liquidity stand today? And I think, honestly, NIO is going to report pretty good numbers on all those fronts, and that's going to juice the stock, because you have to understand the stock's priced for disaster. Even if those numbers aren't great, they're just like decent. Decent's good enough to get the stock to work at $20. So I think, again, the risk reward profile, and that's what it's all about in investing, risk reward profiles. It's not a sure thing. Definitely could make a test back down to 14, but I think that when you look at the risk reward profile on NIO stock, it was super attractive last week when we talked about it at 14. But it's still very attractive here at $20. And if you have time on your side, definitely a good buy here.
Thanks for watching HGI Clips. For the full episode, head on over to our sister channel at Hypergrowth Investing by clicking the link in the description, or listen to the podcast on any of your favorite streaming platforms. We make new episodes every Wednesday, so make sure to check it out and subscribe to never miss any of Luke's Hypergrowth insights.